Capricorn, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of July. So the way that this is structured, this is going to be most applicable for your rising sign. It's still also applicable for your sun sign and your moon sign. And so your rising sign is how other people perceive you. It's also known as your ascendant. So if you're running your birth chart, that is the sign that rules that first house, that ascendant. Your sun sign is how you express yourself to other people. And then your moon sign is how you process everything internally through that emotional lens. And so kind of jumping into the energy of the month here, we actually have our second full moon in the sign of Capricorn, and that's your sign. So this is probably going to feel a little bit more comfortable for you than for other people, but where this is really uncommon, we usually just have one a year. And we just had one of these on June 21st. We'll have another one on July 21st. So we had one as soon as the sun entered Cancer, and we'll have it as the sun is leaving the sign of Cancer. And so this is going to be a heavy emphasis for you on who you are and those significant relationships. We also have some pretty major retrogrades taking place. So we already have Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. We just had Saturn station retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So that happened on June 29th. We'll also have Neptune station retrograde in the sign of Pisces. And so I'll get into that one in a minute because it kind of kicks off the month for us. And then at the end of the month, we'll have Chiron station retrograde in the sign of Aries. So jumping into the Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So that is going to happen on the 2nd at 6:40 in the morning Eastern time. So Pisces energy, well, it's really Neptune and Pisces because Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So this is all about your goals, your dreams. What is that ideal? What does that look like for you? And where this sits in your birth chart is in your third house of communication. Now, it could be related to siblings, maybe your neighbors, the people in close proximity, short distance travel, that type of thing. But mostly it's going to impact your communication, and specifically here. So we have this Neptune retrograde will trine Mercury in the sign of Cancer. And so Mercury in Cancer is all about those conversations that you're having with your significant other. So this could be a spouse if you're married, some sort of interpersonal relationships. So those really one-to-one relationships that you have, there's some sort of communication here. It all blends really easily. So if you are thinking about how do I want to be perceived by this person, there's an easy flow of that energy. Neptune retrograde will also sextile the moon in the sign of Taurus. And so this is where really kind of honing in on how you want to be understood or how you want to communicate with other people. It's creating some sort of opportunity in your fifth house. So fifth house is fun. So it could be your passion projects, it could be children, short-term relationships, those things that you do that you enjoy doing outside of working hours. And so where this is creating an opportunity is to feel very grounded in that type of space. So however you're communicating is really providing you this sense of creating some sort of, I feel valued in my passion projects. I feel kind of maybe invigorated a little bit because that Taurus energy, there's a heavy emphasis on what you value in that house. We'll also have Neptune retrograde sextile Uranus in Taurus. And so if there's any changes that need to take place in that fifth house, so maybe related to children, maybe related to hobbies or passion projects, things like that. It's creating an opportunity for you to maybe remove some of the things where you just don't value it anymore. Because Taurus really wants you to hold on to what you value and kind of let go of everything else. And so with the moon and the Uranus energy, where the way you're communicating and the way you want to be understood, it's creating these opportunities for you to feel more grounded in that house of fun and make changes so that you can feel that way and so you can feel really good about it. This Neptune retrograde will also sextile Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. And so however it is that you're communicating, it's also going to create an opportunity here for you to make more changes as it relates to your finances. Pluto retrograde does indicate that the changes are internal. So think of your own savings habits, spending habits, things like that. So it's creating this opportunity for connected to your communication, maybe make some changes here in your personal finances, really holding on to what you value here. Personal finances can also indicate maybe investments. It's already owned by you is really the best way to put it. It's not money that's coming in, you already have this. And then a couple hours later on the 2nd, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Leo. So that's going to happen at 8:50 in the morning Eastern time. And so Mercury in the sign of Leo, this is communication, but this has got a lot of confidence behind it. And so This is sitting in your 8th house, which is the house of death and rebirth. And so there's a lot of transformation contained within this house. Could be things, this is where other people's money might come into play. So this would be the money that you get from a job, your employer. This could be your spouse's income. This could be something related to your debt. Also kind of maybe on the darker side, intimacy issues, power and control issues. And so there's some sort of conversation that's really confident that you're having. So it relates to some sort of transformation. It might be letting something go here, really kind of focusing here on what matters the most to you, because this Mercury in Leo will trine Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces. And so if you are thinking about, okay, well, in order for me to really be interpreted the way that I want, these are the changes that need to take place. There is going to be some sort of bold understanding on what needs to go, or some sort of conversation around that. That's going to be an easy flowing energy. Now, where it's going to create opportunities is this Mercury in Leo is going to sextile both the moon and Uranus in that house of fun. So in that 5th house energy, kids, passion projects, short-term relationships, things like that. And so something about the way that you're communicating and really kind of maybe stepping out of your comfort zone into like a leadership type of conversation where you're just really being assertive and maybe just asserting yourself more prominently. It's creating some sort of opportunity for you to feel grounded in your passion projects, maybe make some changes as it relates to those passion projects or something connected to children. And again, it's an opportunity you would have to seize. It's not something that's just going to immediately happen. We'll also have Mercury square Chiron in Aries. And so Chiron is the wounded healer sitting in the sign of Aries. So this has been coming up periodically throughout the year. Sorry, my throat's dry. Sitting in your 4th house. So there's some sort of wound. This could be some sort of ancestral wound, wound connected to home, home life, home environment, something along those lines. And so whatever is transforming, whatever conversation, you stepping out of your comfort zone to kind of really assert yourself, it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to healing some sort of wound here. So something connected to home, again, maybe your lineage, something along those lines. This has been coming up is more of like your energy is just not focused on that. You're not focused on healing some sort of wound. You're focused on some sort of transformation that's taking place. You're focused on the more immediate energy. The Chiron in Aries is going to show up at the end of the month again when Chiron stations retrograde. So I'll get more into that later in this reading. We'll also have Mercury in Leo opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so this is where, again, we've got something happening here with your personal finances, some sort of internal transformation. But now this is an opposition. So this might be, if you're taking some sort of bold action as it relates to the money coming in, it might be in direct conflict with whatever changes you're trying to make to your personal savings or something along those lines. And so there is this kind of push-pull energy taking place. It's something that you can work with. You just have to find that happy medium. Then we have the new moon in Cancer. So that's going to happen on the 5th at 6:57 in the evening, Eastern time. And so this new moon in Cancer, it's all about your emotions. Cancer likes to get in deep. So let's, kind of get well below the surface from an emotional standpoint. With the sun and the moon, it's really understanding the depths of your emotions, sun expressing the depths of your emotions. And for you, this is sitting in your 7th house. So those one-to-one relationships, your significant other. And so this is about really focused on that type of energy, those relationships themselves. When this new moon happens, both the sun and the moon, because they're at the same degree point in the sky, so the energy just overlaps, they're going to be in a conjunction with Venus, also in the sign of Cancer. And so the emphasis here is on what you value around that relationship or those relationships in general, because it's more than just your spouse or your significant other. It's really all of those close relationships that you have with other people. And so there's a heavy emphasis here on what you value about those relationships. Venus energy, so Venus likes to bring things together. So there might be more around how do I kind of keep this going or want it to keep going in that type of way. This new moon will also trine Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces. And so Saturn retrograde in Pisces, sitting in your 3rd house of communication. But when Saturn stationed retrograde, it took all of the work that we might have been doing externally and directed it inward. And so now there is this blend of energy between how you feel about your significant other and the work that you're doing to improve your communication. Very easy flow of energy, doesn't require any effort. This is one that's going to happen organically. Then with this new moon in the sign of Cancer, it will also sextile Mars in the sign of Taurus. And so when you think about your spouse or your significant other, it's creating some sort of opportunity for you to take action in this house of fun. So what is taking place here? What actions do you need to take as they relate to maybe pursuing some sort of passion project, or maybe having children, or doing something connected to children? And so this is creating an opportunity that you would have to seize. It's not something that's just going to be handed to you. We'll also have the sun and moon square Chiron in Aries. And so again, the feelings and like really focused on this relationship, these significant relationships in your life, it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to healing some sort of wound connected to your home or to your home life. Again, maybe ancestors, things like that. So that's a square. So it's an obstacle or challenge. You would have to work through it in order to get through it, but it is something that you can do. That square energy is possible to overcome. It just requires a lot of effort. But what's interesting about this new moon is it's not just squaring Chiron in Aries. We actually are in Aries Libra eclipse season, and this is where Chiron has been coming to the surface. And so in Aries Libra eclipse season, Aries for you is in your 4th house of home. Libra is in your 10th house of career. And this new moon is actually going to create conflicts to both your home and to your career. But let me talk about it a little bit further. So how you feel, and really kind of focused here on that one-to-one relationship, that significant other relationship, it's creating a square to the action that you need to take at home. And so this is also really connected to that Chiron energy, where you know that you need to take some sort of healing action here. It just doesn't seem to be like the right time to do anything right now. That will come later in the month. This sun and moon in the sign of Cancer will also square the south node in Libra. And so any kind of balance that you've experienced at work or we're trying to maintain at work. So this is going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to that type of energy. And so again, it feels a lot more like the emphasis here is on your significant other and less on your career or your home life right now. Then we'll have Venus enter the sign of Leo. So that's going to happen on the 11th at 12:19 p.m. Eastern time. And so Venus entering Leo. So Venus likes to bring things together. Leo likes to step out of his or her comfort zone. So this is a very bold energy. Venus in Leo, so it's sitting in your 8th house of transformation. So this is all about death and rebirth. And it's just a very interesting energy. So you might be stepping into some sort of leadership role, something that requires you to kind of step out and be more of a leader, but in a way that brings people together, because that's what Venus wants to do here. It wants to bring people together in a very bold, dynamic way. And it's going to trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so being bold and really stepping into that leadership role, it might feel uncomfortable for you because this is some sort of transformation that's taking place. It is going to blend with whatever your ideal conversation is. So how do you want people to perceive you? How do you want to process the information here? This Venus and Leo energy will also sextile the moon in the sign of Virgo. And so really stepping into this kind of leadership role, this transformative role here is going to create some sort of opportunity for you to feel grounded in whatever growth you have going on. So the moon in Virgo is sitting in your 9th house. 9th house is growth and expansion. Moon is your emotions, but Virgo specifically is about healing. So whatever is taking place within your kind of stepping into a leadership role, getting out of your comfort zone, really kind of assuming that type of position, it is different than what you're used to. That is what this house of transformation is all about. But it's giving you an opportunity to maybe heal something. Maybe there's been some sort of insecurity connected to your growth. You would be able to heal that. This is coming to the surface now. How do you feel about your growth? How do you feel about the direction that you're going? This Venus and Leo energy will also sextile Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so Taurus, again, sitting in that 5th house of children, your passion projects, all of the things that you enjoy outside of work. And so really stepping into this kind of leadership type of role where you're bringing people together, it's creating an opportunity for you to make changes in that specific house. So as it relates to your children or your hobbies, your passion projects, things like that, even short-term relationships, if that's what you have. Not everybody has a significant other. Some people are just focused on that. So I don't highlight that a lot only because you have so much happening with that significant other relationship, but it is important to note. So you are given an opportunity here to make some changes in order to feel like, okay, this is what I value. Let's get rid of all the stuff that doesn't belong here, that I just don't value, don't need to hold on to. Venus in Leo will also square Chiron in the sign of Aries. And so whatever you're doing, again, from a leadership standpoint, that kind of stepping out of your comfort zone, bringing people together, really transforming yourself, it is creating obstacles and challenges to healing whatever this wound is, connected to your home or to your lineage or something along those lines. And again, there is going to be action that's needed in order to heal that wound. It just doesn't feel like this is the right time to really be addressing it. This is more about you evolving kind of this outward evolution before you do more inward evolution. And this Venus in Leo will also be opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so when you think about your personal finances, holding on to the things that you value, the things that you already have, stepping out of your comfort zone and really taking on this kind of leadership type role, it is opposite to whatever internal changes are taking place here as it relates to the way that you view your finances or any kind of changes that you're trying to make happen there. Then we have Mars enter the sign of Gemini. So that's going to happen on the 20th at 4:43 in the afternoon Eastern time. And so Mars and Gemini, I really do love this energy. So Mars is the planet of action. Gemini is all about getting into the details, really doing that thorough understanding of everything that's taking place. And so this indicates that whatever actions you're taking, they're going to be based on all the information that you have. It's not like you're going to be discounting anything. You're going to understand the truth of the entire situation before you take some sort of action here. And this Mars in Gemini is sitting in your 6th house, which is your daily life. So these would be your daily routines, the things that you do on a regular basis. This Mars and Gemini energy will trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So whatever action that you're taking in your home life, that's very informed based on all the facts and data, it is creating, or it is easily blending with however you want to communicate, however you want to be interpreted by other people. Very easy blend of energy here. Then we have Mars and Gemini sextile Moon in the sign of Virgo. And so this informed action that you're taking in your daily life, it's creating some sort of opportunity for you to heal through some sort of growth here, because that Moon in Virgo is sitting in your 9th house of growth and expansion. And so whatever actions you're taking, I'm fully aligned here where you're able to take some sort of opportunity to heal something. So again, if I think about like an insecurity that might be connected to your growth, like you didn't feel like you were good enough, or you didn't feel like you had enough inner fortitude to be able to go after something, you do. And this is kind of telling you that you do, but you do need to act on it. This Mars and Gemini energy will also sextile Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so whatever actions that you want to take in your daily life, again, creating some sort of opportunity here for you to remove anything that just isn't of value to you, things that you just don't need to hold on to as it relates to your passion projects or children, something along those lines. We'll also have Mars square Chiron in Aries. And so this is coming up a lot, and it is going to come up a lot until we get to the end of the month. And so the actions that you're taking in your daily life are creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to healing some sort of wound connected to your home life, your lineage, all of those things. Mars in Gemini will also be opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so whatever changes that you're trying to make as it relates to your finances, this Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, you are in the process of getting rid of old ways of thinking about your finances or thinking about money. And so this change that's happening with your money, the money that you already have, the investments that you already have, it is opposite whatever action that you're taking in your daily life. Then we have the full moon in your sign. So that's going to happen on the 21st at 6:17 in the morning, Eastern time. And so for you, just like I said at the beginning, the moon in Capricorn is all about how you feel about yourself, the way, maybe the work that you've done on yourself, like the structures that you have in place, everything that relates to you, your physical you. It is opposite this sun in Cancer. So it's opposite how you're maybe expressing yourself with your significant other, those one-to-one relationships. And here, this is a push-pull type of energy. You can find the happy medium between the structures that you have in place, the way that you feel about yourself versus the way that you feel about this other person and that relationship. During this full moon, there's going to be a lot of conversations happening with the planets, but the sun and the moon will have different conversations with these planets versus the new moon where they're all kind of in alignment. So here we've got the moon trine Mars and Gemini. So how you feel about yourself completely aligns with whatever changes, whatever actions that you're taking in your daily life. This is not something that requires any effort on your part. It just feels comfortable and it feels good. It's happening. Whereas the sun in Cancer sextile Mars and Gemini. So how you feel about your significant other and that relationship, it's creating an opportunity for you to take some additional action here in your daily life. This is something that you would have to act on in order for it to come to fruition, but you can. I mean, it's an opportunity. We'll also have the moon square Chiron in Aries. So how you feel about yourself and maybe the structures that you have in place as it relates to you. It is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to healing that wound in your home environment, your lineage, something along those lines. And so there's just a disconnect here. It's a square, so it's a challenge, but you can work through it. The sun is actually doing the same thing. So how you feel in your significant relationship here, so your spouse or your significant other, it is also creating obstacles or challenges for you to take some sort of healing action in whatever wound this is connected to your home, your lineage, things like that. And so again, kind of going back to, it just feels like now's not the right time to be addressing this wound. It's more like I need to focus on these other things first before I can get there. We'll have the moon trine Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so this is an easy blend of energy. So how you feel about yourself, it easily aligns with whatever changes are taking place in that house connected to children, your passion projects, hobbies, all of those things. And so this is an easy blend of energy. It's about removing all of those things that you just don't value and holding on to the things that you do. Where that's an easy blend of energy, how you feel about your significant other and that relationship, it's actually creating an opportunity to make additional changes as it relates to that fifth house. So this could be about children because there's a lot of emphasis here on a significant other, house of children. So this could be a time where things like that are taking place. So it's an opportunity that you would have to take advantage of. So if you're looking to make some sort of change as it relates to children, this would be it. And it would be focused here on holding on to what you value, getting rid of the things that you don't. This moon in Capricorn will sextile Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so how you feel about yourself, it's creating some sort of opportunity here for you to maybe communicate differently or be understood in a different way. When you think about how do you want people to understand you, what does that mean from your communication style? How do you need to kind of work on that a little bit here? And so this is, it's creating some sort of opportunity. So it's one that you would have to take advantage of. Whereas the sun in this situation is going to trine. So how you feel about your significant other, it's going to easily blend with whatever communication style that you want, however you want to be interpreted by other people, specifically your significant other, easy blend of energy. So this is a good time for communication with that person. The moon in Capricorn will also conjunct Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so how you feel about yourself completely aligns with whatever changes are taking place in your personal finances. This is something where whatever, again, kind of structure of who you are fully aligns with whatever changes that you want to happen with your personal finances. Whereas the sun in Cancer is going to be opposite that energy. So how you feel about your significant other, it's opposite to whatever maybe savings plan that you have in place or any kind of change that you're trying to make to your financial status, financial stability, something along those lines. And so it's an opposition. You can find the happy medium. You just have to find the happy medium. It does require effort. And then on the 22nd, we have the sun enter the sign of Leo. So that's going to happen at 3:45 in the morning Eastern time. And so when the sun enters Leo, so sun is the ruler of Leo. This is all about being bold and dynamic and really kind of stepping outside your comfort zone. Really, when you think about tarot, it's the strength card. So it is kind of finding that inner strength to really do something different here. And so the sun now entering that house of transformation for you. So however you want to express yourself, you're doing it in a very bold, very dynamic way that is probably different than what you're used to. It really is about stepping outside your comfort zone here, maybe taking on some sort of leadership qualities connected to it. A lot of communication is highlighted because the sun, when it enters the sign of Leo, will be trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so it's going to align with the way that you want to communicate, how you want to be perceived by other people. We'll also have the sun in Leo sextile Mars in the sign of Gemini. And so really kind of stepping into this transformation, really just embracing being bold and dynamic and expressing exactly what it is that you want here, probably in a way that is very brave and outside of your comfort zone. It's going to create an opportunity for you to make changes in your daily life, more changes in your daily life. This is about incorporating more information into those decisions because Mars is still sitting in Gemini. And so before you take any action, it's going to be based on all the information in front of you. And so it's creating the opportunity. You just have to act on it. We'll also have the sun in Leo sextile Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so whatever this bold transformation is, that expressing yourself through this transformation process, it's creating an opportunity for you to make changes in that house of fun, in that house that occupies children, your passion projects, hobbies, short-term relationships, all of those things. But it's an opportunity. You would just have to take advantage of it. And then we have the sun in Leo opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so this could actually be about 8th house, 2nd house, all money concerned here. So whatever is transforming within you, wherever you're kind of stepping out, this could be the money that's coming in from an outside source. So this could be your spouse's money. This could be the money that you get from an employer. It's directly opposite whatever changes are occurring within your personal finances. So the money that you already own is opposite from the money coming in. So this could be also from an outside source as well. It doesn't have to just be money from an employer. This could be some sort of inheritance. This could also be related to some debt that you might have. And so there's some sort of transformation that's taking place here, and it might be related to your finances. It's an energy that you would have to kind of navigate and figure out a way to kind of find that happy medium. And then on the 25th, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Virgo. And so that's going to happen at 6:42 in the evening Eastern time. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. And so right away, Mercury will trine Chiron in Aries. And so Mercury, communication, Virgo, also communication, but there's a healing component to this. And so that's sitting in your 9th house. And so in order to grow, there's something here that needs to be healed. There's something that you need to think through in order to be able to heal. This is connected directly to that wound related to your home life, your lineage. This is an easy flowing of energy. So this is about really understanding what actions you need to take in order to heal this wound. This Mercury in Virgo will also square Mars in Gemini. And so the emphasis here is you've done some changes in your daily life. And so in order for you to continue growing and expanding, instead of focusing on making more changes right now, you need to focus on what you need to do in order to heal that wound connected to your home life. And so this square to any kind of additional changes that you want to make in your daily life, it feels like now's not the right time. It's an obstacle or challenge. You might want to make some changes here, and you can. You just have to work through the energy. It's not impossible. It's just something that requires effort. This Mercury in Virgo energy, 9th house energy, is also square Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so we've made a lot of changes so far this month as it comes down to that house of fun. And so this is children, this is passion projects, hobbies, and things like that. Focused here on Mercury and Virgo, so growing and understanding what you need to grow and heal in order to be able to keep moving forward. It just feels like now's not the right time to make any additional changes as it relates to children or your passion projects. So kind of take that as it resonates. You can work through that energy if you want to make more changes in that 5th house. This is one where it's going to be a little bit more difficult just because of that square element there, where you're going to have to really work through those challenges. And then finally, we have Chiron station retrograde. So that's going to happen on the 26th at 9:59 in the morning. And so again, this Chiron is all sitting in your 4th house of home. It's an asteroid, it's the wounded healer. And so when this station's retrograde, it's about that wound coming to the surface. When Chiron stations retrograde, it's actually going to be in a conjunction with the moon, also in the sign of Aries. So it's about understanding this wound coming to the surface, Moon in Aries, it's also about how do you feel about the action that you need to take in order to heal this wound? Because Aries is focused on action. Moon is all about your emotions. So what do you need to do in your home life in order to heal this wound? Chiron retrograde will also trine Mercury in Virgo. And so again, Mercury just entered Virgo the day before. And so really understanding and thinking through what do you need to do and heal that growth opportunity. How do you grow here? This is an easy blend of energy. So it's about understanding what actions you need to take. What is it that you need to do in order to heal this wound that's coming to the surface? We'll have Chiron retrograde trine Venus in Leo. And so there's also a direct connection between healing this wound and really stepping into that leadership type of transformation where you're really digging deep, being very strong about what it is that you're trying to accomplish here, being very bold and dynamic here. And so the actions and the way that you are kind of stepping into this will help you heal whatever this wound is that's coming to the surface. And then finally, we'll have Chiron actually square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so healing this wound coming to the surface in your home life is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge as it relates to changes in your finances. So in your personal income, maybe even in your investments. But again, it's a square. You can work through the energy. The emphasis here is on actually identifying the way to work through it and then focused on actually healing it. So Capricorn, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.